and welcome to Conversations with Robyn. Today's program was filmed at the Australian Society of Clinical Hypnotherapists 2006 convention. So keep watching for another life-changing conversation. And our first guest for the first of our 5 shows is Helen Reddy. And Helen, thank you so much for being on the show.
Well, thank you, Robyn. Thank you for inviting me.
And it was amazing actually just being and watching your presentation this morning. You spoke a lot about your book, which is called
The Woman I Am.
And what's it about?
It's about a very interesting life, a very full, rich, interesting life, and a journey, one that I'm still on. But it was a life worth writing about, I decided.
Absolutely. We're not going to elaborate too much on your previous life this time. We won't even go back to the past life stuff at the moment. But just a little bit summing up, though, your life, you were born into a family that travelled and was in vaudeville. The age of 4, I think it was.
I was probably 5 the first time I don't remember the first time I walked out on stage, which is probably why I don't have stage fright. It's one of the few places I'm really comfortable is on a stage. Yes, very much so. What was the question?
When you first appeared.
When I first appeared. I would have been about 5, and that was the Tivoli Theatre in Perth, where my parents, they were doing a series of variety shows there. So I was on in the panto in the afternoon, and also the show at night.
Okay. And then, of course, you won something with Bandstand, was it?
The Bandstand Starflight International competition in 1965.
And then what was that the catalyst for?
That took me to the United States.
And you struggled for how many years?
Oh, about 5 before I got my first record deal.
And I read somewhere, I think it was your website, how many recording labels knocked you back?
I heard that and I was very surprised because it was news to me.
Okay.
So, you know.
It was something like 37 that I read and I heard...
I didn't know there were 37 labels, quite honestly, but, you know, things... I'm not responsible for everything that people say or write.
Okay, let's get on to that for a second then.
Okay.
How many stories have you heard about yourself over the years that have been just totally fabrication?
Oh, enough. Well, I was talking about this right before I came in here, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I've read in the gossip columns that I got into a fist fight with Bette Midler, who I had never met, at a nightclub I've never been to.
Serious?
Yes, I've read that I live in a city I've never lived in, that I've stayed at a hotel I've never stayed at. I don't know where they get this stuff, but one person puts it in print and then the rest say, oh, okay, and copy it. So, you know.
Are you a fairly private person?
Fairly private person.
Given obviously your life has been exposed,
I would
say, you private within yourself?
Yes, I am. But this book was... I couldn't have written it 20 years ago. I couldn't have written it 10 years ago.
That's what happens when you get to be an
elder. I don't even know if I could have written it 5 years ago.
Okay. Because I'm curious, how does it feel when you see these sensational stories about you?
Well, I try not to read that stuff. I really, you know,
Okay.
There's nothing you can do. You could, and there's no point in getting upset and frustrated and everything else. People think whatever they think. You know, I'm not responsible for what other people think.
Okay. So you're in America. You have a young daughter.
Right.
And finally, you crack the recording industry.
Well, you know, I got a contract to record one single, 2 sides, 2 songs. And fortunately, one of them became a hit, which was I Don't Know How to Love Him. And that led to me recording an album. And that led to me recording a few dozen albums.
Well, I think I heard in the introduction to you this morning, the presentation, that you've sold something like 20 million.
I don't deal with numbers.
And then 10 million singles?
That's a man thing, numbers. It really is.
Okay, let's go the women thing.
Okay.
Then you obviously did I Am Woman. Yep.
Yes.
Hitting around with the things here. I Am Woman. And you mentioned in your talk this morning about how you accepted that particular award and thanking God.
Yes.
How was that worded again?
because she makes everything possible.
Absolutely. And you also said in your presentation this morning of how you really see the divine, or what was your wording for that?
I used a quote from Spinoza: God is not he who is, but that which is. So I see God as the ultimate energy, consciousness, but definitely not a man, sitting on a cloud with a long white beard.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that when people find out your belief systems, and now that you're a hypnotherapist, are they able to sort of go, sorry, Helen Reddy, singer, performer, do you find that they are unable to see you in that light? What's the reaction from a lot of people?
Sometimes, but I wouldn't really take on a client if they were, in awe of who I was, because it would interfere with the process. Yeah. Sometimes it works for me, in that they're more than usually anxious to please me, and so will go along with whatever I'm suggesting more readily.
Yeah.
So, it can work either way, but most people under 40 wouldn't have a clue who I was.
Okay. Not interesting. It shows my age, I guess. Anyway, one of the things you also shared was about the age of 11 or 12. You went to Sunday school of your own accord, and you started questioning, what was it, in going to Sunday school?
Just what religion was all about, and why there were different religions, and why they couldn't agree on things, and it just seemed petty to me that there was a deeper truth in there that was being ignored because they were... Look, it's like if you saw Monty Python's Life of Brian, that wonderful scene where the mob's chasing him because they believe he's Jesus, and he's running away from them, and he loses a sandal, and they pick up the sandal, it's a sign, and then they split into different groups because they're arguing what the sign means. And I thought, that's it. That's organised religion.
So there's been a deep connection for you on a higher level from a very young age.
I believe, the kingdom of God is within you, and that you go inside to find your own truth.
Okay.
And people see, it's interesting. I heard of someone, her father was a mathematician, and when he died, this look of absolute wonder came on his face, and he spouted a mathematical equation, which no one wrote down, of course. But I believe that for him, God was the ultimate equation. I've had artists say, I'm looking at a painting and I'm going inside the painting, because that's their means of expression, and that's what they relate to. So we're all different in terms of whether we're visual or audio or kinetic, and so, we're all individuals.
Absolutely. Part of your journey has also included being visionary.
Well, yes, I was always a bit that way. Yes.
And you shared the hooly-goolies. You shared the dream you had before you moved to Sydney.
Right,
the
yes.
church.
Well, I used to tell the girls at school, I'm going to go to Hollywood and be a movie star.
And what age was that?
12.
Okay. So you've always had a sense of destiny for you. Okay, we're going to take a break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we're going to find out more about Helen Reddy's path. Back with you soon.